intro?
Yeah.
Well, you can tell Wes wrote this. Well.
You can tell I wrote that.
Sorry, did I steal your thunder going
You
into
did.
that? I'm sorry.
We're going to cut that out. So.
All right. You've already started it. Go ahead. Well.
Well.
There it is.
Here we are yet again. Jeffrey Lanigan back on the pod. Our first
back.
repeat guest.
I'm back.
New title, though.
New title for you.
A big smile. There was a big smile there, too.
Big new title.
Teddy's hockey coach.
Yes. I am officially
How do you feel about
the
that?
B-Mites head coach.
Wow.
You know what's funny, actually, just to go off of that. So as a USA hockey coach, you have to get your certifications, right? So obviously during the campaign and during the election, I couldn't get my certifications. So I was actually coaching the entire time under somebody else's tutelage because I didn't have my certification. So 4 days before the end of the year, I did my classes, and I am now officially a head coach through USA Hockey.
Congratulations on the graduation.
Yeah, so that was huge.
That was a big step.
In the process, I was elected mayor of the city of Rome. But
no,
I just wanted, but I did want to touch
yeah,
on that I was
good.
a USA. I am now your son's official USA certified hockey coach.
There's something about the USA that just makes it just that
so
flashy.
much better. So much better.
City of Rome mayor or USA hockey coach.
USA hockey coach, absolutely.
That would go to the top of the list.
That would go pretty high.
But speaking of that mayor thing.
Yes, we can touch on that.
How's that going?
So it's going good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you expected to see me back as the mayor or not, but we did it. So
Well, when you won the primary, I think everyone's ears perked up like a
little bit.
And I think we did call if there was a bigger turnout too. We were in your camp on that too.
Yeah. The camp was, or the turnout was.
So what were the
strong.
numbers here at the Sentinel? Let's talk about that. Where was the projections at?
Projections?
I do not endorse, and I do not do that kind of. I don't.
We should have called Zogby for a quick poll.
You should have.
I know. We should have.
You should have done an office pool or something.
Polling's all bullshit, though. Come on.
Yeah, well, honestly, it is difficult in this day and age because several people they said, "Are you guys doing some polling? What are you guys doing?" And we had talked about it, but it's so many people don't answer their phone anymore. Nobody has a home phone anymore. Everybody has their cell phone. And then when you see a number come up that you don't know and it's coming from California,
they can't do it. They can't do it.
You're not answering it. So we actually waited for somebody else locally did a poll, and we waited for that to come back, and they got like 17% of the people that answered their phone. And I'm like, why are we going to waste our money on that? Because in our camp, it wasn't going to change what we were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So why spend the money or time on it if
Exactly.
it's not going to change your strategy?
Yeah,
Sure.
and even after the primary, after we won the primary, which was obviously huge, we weren't slowing down. We were playing like we were 20 points behind, and we were going to keep the foot on the pedal.
Might as well, yeah.
It wasn't going to change anything. So
You
we
need to
didn't
use
do
your USA hockey coach certification, coaching theories. Same thing. You got to keep fighting.
You got to keep fighting
Till the buzzer goes
What do I
off.
tell the kids out there?
Till November.
Just keep skating. That's all they got to do.
Yeah.
Keep fighting hard.
See?
So,
The parallels here are tremendous.
it is.
It is. Thanks for coming on again.
Absolutely.
I think we've kind of have a plan to do this monthly if we can fit it in.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
If you guys would like to jump on board with that, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great opportunity for me to get information out there. And obviously, one of my big things is transparency. So I love the opportunity. I think you guys have a great platform here, and I'd love to make it a monthly thing.
Yeah, there's only so much space in a story that you can,
Exactly.
and someone else is still reading those words. And even though it's your words, there could be a snippet. We need to try not to do that. But I think having a longhand version of it, right from the mouth of the mayor, I think has just a little extra. And I know we know there's going to be topics that might need a little more clarification or just a regular update. I think. It's just a good opportunity for us to explore it, and thanks for
It's been a big thing in your campaign was transparency, communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are kind of the FDR fireside chats, if you will.
Absolutely.
Your version of them. So
and so many people now, it's in this day and age, they're more likely to pick up their phone and watch a video than they are to pick up the newspaper and sit down and read the paper. So, it kind of gives that opportunity to get the information out to the people that aren't reading the paper. So,
Sure.
All different mediums. Yeah.
So quickly, I guess as the intro, how'd you pull this off? What do you think the magic sauce was?
Yeah, we want to look forward, of course, but we have to look back at this election.
That's
This
a
first
huge
one.
win.
Absolutely. Honestly,
Tell
it was
us what the heck happened.
It was grassroots. I think when I came on here before, to talk about everything before the primary, I told you it was strictly, grassroots. We didn't have this astronomical budget that we were going to be able to push the commercials and the radio ads and everything like that. And obviously going up against a 2-time incumbent with the name recognition and the positive things that have happened in this community, it was going to be a difficult fight. But we knew that if we put the work in and we put the effort in to get out there and get my name out there and honestly have those face-to-face conversations, it's kind of like, you know, I joke with my campaign manager about that, you know, I literally handed you a smile and a personality and you turned it, you know, into a politician, essentially. So that was kind of my keys to this election, was to get there and talk with people and have those conversations. And, you know, coming from law enforcement, people don't think of a transition of a cop becoming somebody that's going to run the city. But there's so much more to me than just being a cop. So that was the goal right from the beginning, was just get out there and meet the people. And so that's what we did.
I do have one stat, and I double-checked this. I will triple-check it. Even though we didn't have a major budget, everyone who spent money with us, whoever spent the most with us in every campaign won. Common Council, mayors, and in both Rome and Utica.
For this past
election.
You guys were,
so I had at least plug that a little
it's
bit.
perfect demographics for voters, right? It's educated
and
people
absolutely.
who
It is.
And that's really what, you know, when we sat down to do our budgets and figure everything out, you guys were, you know, key in that, where we said we need to get out there with the paper, because that's how you reach that kind of that older generation. You know, our generation is the Facebook, it's the Instagram, it's all that kind of stuff. But that older generation, which we all know sitting here, those are your big voters. Those are the people that go out. I mean, they look forward to election day. Yep. So we knew right from day one, we said we need to get with the Sentinel. We need to do every bit of advertisement through the Sentinel that we could, and that's what we did. And I appreciate you guys for having that platform for me, and I do think it was essential to the win. So thank you for that.
Well, congrats. I mean, beating a 2-time incumbent is no small feat. Plus, I mean, as far as I know, I mean, everyone seemed to think she did a decent job. There wasn't any big controversy. I mean, she wasn't caught like smoking crack like in DC, or, you know, with a prostitute or something. Like, there was no big disaster.
Those would have been so good.
Those would have been good for selling papers, but I mean, she didn't fumble the ball.
Yeah.
You just kind of won this thing.
Yeah, it's, you got to remember, there's so much to being a mayor. It's not just economic development. It's not just, hey, look at all the shiny new buildings that we were able to put up. There's so much more to it. You need to be a people person. You need to be approachable. You need to be somebody that's going to call people back. You need to be somebody that's going to hold your departments accountable. So when people are calling with problems in the codes department or the parks and recs department, you need to be that person that's going to go down there and say, what is going on? Like, because at the end of the day, all of that reflects on the mayor. At the end of the day, it's not the codes department, City of Rome. It's the mayor's City of Rome. And I think that's kind of a lot where the previous administration lacked. And I was able to capitalize on that. I was able to show that stuff is not going to continue. I'm going to be here. You don't know how many people that I've called back that just, they go, I can't believe that.
Are they taking it back? That you're just
they really are. They really are.
Good
and even I went to the Common Council meeting last night, and there was a huge thing that was brought to light to me, and I was able to obtain that person's phone number last night, and I called them at 9:00 last night when I left, and they were blown right away that I called. But I wanted to get right on it, so because I knew today I had a packed schedule, so I wanted to be able to have some information to come in the door this morning and say, hey, can you guys look into this for me? So,
and today highlighted by this podcast, of course.
This was the key to that. Yeah. So
he's got a schedule around.
I appreciate. I did have to move you guys, and I appreciate you guys.
You big time us. You had nothing else planned, but you had a big time.
I appreciate the move though. You know, it just keeps us in
strong
check.
play.
It's a good play.
That's all. I had to keep. Make sure you guys knew where you're at.
Make sure we could drink wine at 6 in the morning, like it is right now.
It's not bad. Thanks for coming in. Still is dark outside.
It is okay though. Well, I got one more question, and not to kind of dwell on the election and the past regime, but I have to ask, and I got a couple of quotes here. The Sentinel ran a story, December 20th, with Jackie leaving office, looking back at her time. And then a nearly identical story ran in the OD on January 3rd, 2 weeks later. It's almost as if they steal our ideas. Anyway.
Yeah. It's like we don't pay attention, but we do.
Like they just read our stuff and then, you know.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's not bad.
Anyway.
But did you catch those stories?
Which
I just
ones?
sounded British there for some reason.
Yeah,
Did you catch those
You got
stories?
those stories.
I don't know why I did that.
Where the hell? How many bottles have we had? You all right?
This is my third bottle.
you
But did you read these stories?
I'm sure I probably did. Which ones were they though? Because there's
well, I
been
mean,
a bunch.
she sounded like you just stuck a mic in her face right after she lost. They sounded very angry, grumpy, frustrated.
Yeah, not to go on the pun of the wine, but sour grapes. Is that kind of what it sounded like?
That is perfect.
Look at
Wait,
that.
see how you
Well,
did that? But
yeah,
I mean,
a little bit.
she said, we're going to step back because there is no vision.
Yeah.
She said, there's extreme negativity in Rome, and it's still there. That really saddens me. It was very apparent in this campaign. There's a lot of pettiness and jealousy in Rome, and that is really what holds us back. And it reared its ugly head during this campaign.
Yeah.
Are you reading a nighttime story? Or
I
are
mean,
you quoting
what?
Jackie? Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's a quote
but-
from the story. Like, what are your thoughts on all that?
Honestly, I've talked about this so many times since she had lost the election because it really is. It's sour grapes. I was quoted as saying it's not Jackie Izzo City of Rome. It's not Jeff Lanigan City of Rome. It's the constituents of Rome. It's their city, and they've elected me to be their new mayor. It's very sad that somebody couldn't just say, hey, thank you for allowing me to serve you guys for 8 years. I wish nothing but the best for this community, the current administration coming in. And, I want this city to continue to grow. Instead, those are the quotes and the things that we got for the last month and a half. It's sad. I mean, I think this administration truly showed their real colors throughout this, not only the campaign, but through the election and into what preceded. So,
well, it's also kind of funny how she's talking about the negativity and already
Speaking negatively.
Speaking negatively. I'm
yeah.
like,
And the thing is I said to somebody else, I said, find one negative thing that my campaign ever put out or that I
put in
ever
there
said.
that you were like slinging mud. I'm like, did I miss
I
something?
never-
you can't
and I
control
never
other
did.
people's words.
And that's
They're still gonna
what it
do-
was.
Everybody's going to do what they want to do.
And that's what I said. I go, she's referring to supporters of mine. And if she only knew how many times I sat supporters down and said, hey,
Let's
listen,
keep it classy.
Let's keep it classy. This is what we're doing. We're not right from day one. I mean, you guys both know that her closet was huge. But I wasn't going into that. I wasn't going to do that. I wanted to keep it about what I can do, what I can bring, my vision.
Looking forward.
Yeah, and we never once threw anything. And she refers to supporters of mine and people that went to the Common Council meetings and things like that. But I can't control that. Right. Those are people that are upset with you and your administration. Guess what? Come back and see me in 3 years. I guarantee there's going to be those same people that are throwing mud at me because they're unhappy with things that I did or ways that I handled their certain situations. You're going to have that no matter what. You can never appease everybody. Yeah. But we never went negative in our campaign. Obviously they got honestly to be truthful, her campaign strategy I think was poor. She came and tried to attack me. And that was her whole campaign strategy is disability this, and he doesn't live in the city that. And then why don't you talk about what you're going to do for the next 4 years of the city of Rome? Because that's all I talked about, what I'm going to bring to the table. So I think a lot of my victory was based off of her campaign strategy. I think it was a poor strategy. And I'm new to politics, but I think it was.
But you also have been a constituent your whole life, and you understand what people want to hear or like to hear. And some people are sick of negativity.
Yeah, and the thing is you're coming at somebody. I grew up in this community. I've been in sports my whole life. I served this community on the police department. I volunteered my time in all sorts of things. Like people that know me, that know the Jeff Lanigan of this community, not just Mayor Lanigan, the Jeff Lanigan community, they know I'm a good person. So when she was continuously attacking me and trying to point me as a bad person, I think that worked negatively against her. Right. It's unfortunate, but we got through.
Has there been much of a transition? Did you get much assistance, or did she leave you a nice note like the presidents leave each other?
We got nothing. I got a phone call the day after the election when she conceded. I never got another correspondence whatsoever from her ever again. We reached out. They told us to find someplace off-site to do our transition. I got a phone call on a Thursday morning that said the mayor has dropped off their keys and the building's yours at this point. We're shampooing the carpets, and you guys can come in when you'd like.
Well, that's a nice perk. You get shampooed carpets.
Yeah, I got the carpets shampooed. So
gotta factor that in.
We walked into that. They completely discarded all the paperwork that was in the mayor's office. All the filing cabinets were empty. all the digital stuff was erased.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. So
Wow. You got another story bureau in here. Where's
Yeah.
Sean Mills when you need him?
So yeah, that's what we walked into. That was the transition. On the other side of that, the employees have been incredible. I
Good,
met with them starting right out. I took a week after the election just to be with the family, but right after that, we hit the ground running, and the employees have been incredible, provided me with anything I asked for. As you guys know, you've reported on it. I did most of my promotions from within, which was big to me. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give everybody an opportunity. They've worked their careers to get to that point. So it's been good on that side of it.
Great. Well, let's
On the
pump it up.
future?
On to
Yeah.
the future.
There we go.
On to the
I
bigger
like
and
it.
better.
Yeah.
I was chatting with you at my second home, probably your third home, Kennedy Arena.
Yes.
And you told me your second day in office, you got a nice phone call.
We did. We did.
Tell us about that.
So
Got a few dollars.
Yeah, so the city was awarded through FEMA funding. They were awarded $1.1 million to fix up Penny Field. We had that superstorm in August of 21, I think it was, that came through and flooded out Penny Field and flooded out River Street and several parts of East Rome. So that award just came through, and the city was Congressman Gildenbrandt's office reached out and said that we were awarded $1.1 million out of FEMA funding to fix up Pennyfield, which was incredible. So day 2 in office, and I brought the city $1.1 million. I mean, it's not bad.
That's a great pace. I was
That's
saying, it's like
pretty-
if you
yeah.
get home run in your first major league game, you're on pace for 162, which would be pretty good. So you were a heck of a pace to keep up.
A heck of a pace for 4 years. Day 2 bringing in 1.1. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the speed is putting that into work now, because a lot of people were getting angry that nothing was being done over there. But as soon as you touched it, you can no longer apply the FEMA money to fixing up Penny Field. And I don't think a lot of people understood that. Like, why aren't things happening? This is why, because we actually have the money to repair it, but if we repaired it, we would never get reimbursed. It had to be in its state
The old order of operations.
in order for FEMA to contribute the money. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it's municipal government. People, they don't realize that how long it takes for things to actually happen. And, we have an incredible community economic development department, and they do such a great job. And they applied for that money back in 2021. And, obviously we have to sit and wait for that whole process to go through. So it is unfortunate, but now here we are. We're going to be able to invest that money into the community and bring that park back. And it is one of the most utilized parks in the city is Pennyfield. It's always, you go through in the summer, it's always packed.
What's the timeline of that money? Like, we awarded it is one thing, getting it is another, and then actually, the trigger point of
Do you use it, then get reimbursed, or how does that all shake down? Do you know the logistics?
I don't really know
This is
the
very
logistics.
riveting for the listeners.
I don't know the logistics.
I feel like once you have the money, they're like, okay, when we going to see
1.1 million is going to go a long way, I would think. That sounds like a decent chunk of change.
It
for
should go
Pinty.
a good chunk of change. Right after that, because my filing cabinets were empty, I had to wait for the Community and Economic Development Department to bring me down the paperwork and bring me down the plans. And so we just actually started going through the plans of what they have projected out for what they're going to do to the park. So we're going through that. We're hoping to get going on that right in the springtime. Obviously, is it a money issue where we put the money up front and then the money's going to funnel back through? I have no problem with that. If that's what we can do, we'll be more than happy to put the money up and wait for it to come through so we can get the project done. Since it has been, I mean, you're talking 2.5 years where this park's been ravaged. So,
What are you studying over here?
I'm loading up. I've seen this. I've seen the script.
Usually the script is about 2 lines and we just wing it. But last night, for some reason, probably because the kids were yelling in the other room, I was hiding in the office.
oh, nice.
And I was working on some of this stuff.
All right.
So you ready for this next banger?
Go ahead.
I got another quote for you.
Oh, here we go.
Let me get this sheet out. Get that in the mic. So we just chatted with Rob Esche from the Comets. Played a little hockey in his day as well.
A couple times.
Yeah, speaking of our hockey theme here. We had a nice chat with him at Taylor and the Cook.
Yep.
I'm sure you could, click somewhere on here, Brad, when you edit this for that.
I have it pulled up. I don't know if you wanted me to play it or if you just
Play it. You wanna play
I'm
it?
going to try.
See what you can do out
Thank
here.
God we can
There's
edit if this
We had a
doesn't
little
work.
chat, and I was like, I should ask Lanny this. What do you think?
Okay, all right.
The one thing that I'll leave you with, though, I mean, make no mistake about it. I mean, all the stuff that we've done at the Nexus Center and the Odd, I mean, that doesn't happen with me. That happens with your politicians. Like, yeah, maybe somebody's driving the bus a little bit and staying on it day in and day out and day in and day out. Like, yeah, I'm part of the business plan. But at the end of the day, without Tony and the legislators, without Joe or Mary Ann, Anthony Brindisi, who was monumental for us, while he was actively involved. I mean, the mayor was doing his own stuff as well. I mean, these projects, our area isn't out of the woods. You can't do it without public money. Yeah. Like, if you think you're coming into Utica, New York, or Rome, New York, and you're just going to have all this private business just jump in here because it's a city on the rise, you're sadly mistaken.
Thank you. I didn't have to read it that time. That was much better.
I didn't want to be, it was one night before Christmas. No, I feel like you're going to a story there. Anyway.
Your thoughts on that? I mean, I'll just leave it open for you. What do you think about his
So one of the big things I pushed with during my campaign was a private-public partnership. We need to have those because we're only going to help each other with this community grow. And if you try to rely on just private business to come in without any type of government assistance or the community itself helping, you're going to stall because it's going to be difficult. And that's why we're going to be open to building those public and private partnerships. That was a great thing they did at the Nexus. The county got involved, the city got involved, everybody got involved, the state to make that happen. And look at it now. I mean, it's thriving. It's busy every weekend. You've been out there
and now getting world recognition.
It's
incredible. Women's World Hockey.
Coming
It's incredible. And I've talked with Rob and said that I would love to bring their group into Rome, to invest into Rome, and to do more here. And there's anything we can do as the city government to assist with that and make it happen. I know I've talked to you guys about the same thing. So that's what we want to do. It shouldn't be. I don't want to be the guy standing in front of the camera saying, "Look what I did! Look what I did." I want all the other people that made it happen to stand out there, and we can say, "Look what we did," and that's really what we need to do.
That's great. So, what does the city have? I mean, I guess you probably don't have a fund for helping private ventures go up. I mean, what can you do? I mean, Edge has been very crucial in your relationship with them, but I think people are not nervous about it. But one thing is when you have a new mayor, he or she is going to have to get up to speed and figure out how to get into these purse strings and how to get this money out. So that's a great question. Like, how do you approach that? Do you like knock on Edge's door and say, "Let's talk for 3 days straight and figure out how the heck we can?"
So one thing,
some, businesses in a Rome here.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I did is even before I won the election, I was reaching out to some of these organizations and some of these groups to say, "Hey, I'd love to sit with you. I'd love to meet with you so that I can get kind of a feel. And if I do win this election, I'm not starting from zero. Like I already have kind of a leg up, and that's just me personally. I like to have that.
Like to be prepared.
I like to be prepared, and that's I tell everybody. I always like to have my ducks in a row. Some people met with me. A lot of them wouldn't because they didn't want to upset the previous administration, and they said, "Hey,
they got to walk a line too."
Exactly." And I respected that, and I said, "Thank you for getting back to me. I totally respect that." I hope to be working with you.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Exactly. So the ones that never responded to me, those ones are the ones that they're on the back burner. I'll meet with you eventually. But after the election, and obviously with winning, those floodgates opened, and then it was whoever I wanted to meet with. And I remember hearing that the previous administration was upset that I was meeting with these people without even being in office, and I'm thinking, why? Why would you be upset about that? Like, I want to have a leg up when I hit
you don't want
January
to miss a beat. You just want to jump in when you start and go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Mohawk Valley Edge, I've met with them, GLDC, obviously, Tony Pacenti, Joe Griffo. I've met with all these people to get together to see, hey, how can we keep this running? What do you guys need from me? What do you need me to do? And try to learn the ropes so I wasn't coming in blind. So my own personal transition was great. Like I was busier after the election than probably I was during the election, and I was busy during the election. But I wanted to try to wrap my head around everything, and I think we did a good job at that coming in. Now obviously everything is snowballed to where it's now everybody wants to meet, and the new people want to come in and meet because maybe they didn't have a relationship with the previous administration, so they want to start on a good foot with me. So now it's kind of snowballed, but what it is it's honestly working together. It's getting together and having that open mind. Like, I know that I'm not going to be able to walk in the room and know every answer to the question, but I'm here and willing to listen and learn. And I think that's a great thing with me, is that I am a quick learner and I'm open-minded. So I definitely, it's been working well so far, and we've had some great meetings, and the ball's still rolling. It's not, we haven't taken 3 steps back, as somebody might say.
As you might have heard that quote or read that quote.
Yeah, if anything, the morale in City Hall is definitely upped. So if anything, I'd say we've taken a half a step forward, if I had to say. So
we want to keep these tight and under 30 minutes, but anything on the mind that you'd like to share? Anything coming up? Just kind of the floor is yours.
So kind of what I said right from the beginning was nuisance is a big problem in the city. So right day one when we hit the ground, I met with my public safety commissioner, and we met with the corporation council, and we are in the process of revamping our nuisance law. We're attacking a nuisance property that's in the city right now that I said, no, we're going to make this happen right away. I want to have a nuisance hearing right away on this property and get these people that have been, they have been torturing this neighborhood since the summer, and just nobody has put their foot down and said, enough's enough. So right week one, we started on that. Everything's kind of coming together right now. So kind of the nuisance right now for me is these pot shops that are popping up, these illegal ones. We're jumping right onto
everywhere.
that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we met with Tony Pacenti about that the other day, and he shares the same, the same opinion of that. So we're getting together with the county, the city of Utica, and we're going to come together and see how we can attack this as kind of a regional thing, not just the cities working on their own, but all work together. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, and we're really going to try to bring that in right away. And kind of show these people that we're not going to let this expand. We're actually going to be right on top of you and make it a little uncomfortable for you to be here. So
it's good you're working together, because if not, it's kind of like whack-a-mole, right?
Exactly.
And close one down, they pop up the other place.
Yeah, and honestly, like Rob said in his interview, you need that funding. Like, the city of Rome can't fund everything. We just don't. We don't have an open pocketbook. Everything's budgeted for. So when we met with Tony Pacenti, it was kind of like, it was great to hear that the county wants to get on board, because their pocketbook's obviously
another
quite larger.
Yeah.
And then to get city of Utica involved. And that's why, he said he's going to bring all of us to the table with each of our codes departments and legal counsel and all get together and say, how can we attack this all together? Because you bring everybody into the room, and you have so many more resources, not only just funding, but resources also. So that's kind of our day one thing that we hit the ground running with, and so
cool, great.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, we didn't screw this first one up too bad.
Not too bad, right?
I mean, we got to start somewhere.
It was good.
But no. But thanks for again taking the time.
Absolutely.
We'll hope to do this again in February, and see if we can keep the ball rolling without screwing it up too bad. So
absolutely.
Thanks again, and talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks,
guys.
sir.
Thank you.
All right.